Hi, and welcome to another Yarny tale. My name is Bia, I live in Belgium, and in this episode I want to talk to you about everything I have on my needles, which is also something that went completely wrong, but that I want to share to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes I made. And I want to take you on a little trip as well. We went to Aachen this weekend, Aachen in Germany, and I have some footage for you. So cozy up, have a nice drink, a project, and let's get on with our Yarny tale. So the first thing I talk about is what I am wearing, and today that is the Marina top number 10 by MYPZ. MYPZ is a Dutch designer, it's Marina Herms, and well, her company name, I think, is MYPZ. And she designs fairly simple patterns, but with a lot of bold colors. It's a typical Dutch style, which I quite like. This one was designed for her chunky mohair. I used another yarn, which is Kit Anel. I do still have quite some stash of Kit Anel, so I was looking for projects to use that up, and it turned into this sweater. So I'm just going to stand up and show you a bit. It's a 3/4 sleeve, balloon sleeve. It's a very simple sweater. You knit it from the bottom up, and you make seams for the shoulders, and then I'm not quite sure anymore, but I think you also knit the sleeves bottom up, and then you attach them to the body. Simple as that. But it's one I like to wear a lot. But it's for spring. So spring or autumn, because the texture is quite warm, but it has some quite big holes in it. So that's why it's not too hot. It's knit on a 10mm needle, so it's a very quick knit. And that's what I loved about it. It's chunky and drapey, everything you need for a spring sweater. We have spring now here. The weather was quite cold in the days that went by. Today it's a bit warmer, and we are seeing some sunshine, but we will have to say goodbye to that again soon. So as long as there is sunshine, we're gonna enjoy it. The second thing I want to talk about is something that is still on the needles, but that I find a very enjoyable project. We went to Aachen, or Aachen in German, which is a city nearby for Belgians, because it's just right across the border, in fact. It will be a 2-hour drive from here. And, well, in that time, I could, of course, knit a bit. And I am working on, I'm going to take the second one as well, on a stripy pair. It's a lot of stripes today. These are the color palette socks. It's a free pattern by Laura Moorats on Ravelry, and it's a very enjoyable one to knit. Last episode I told you that these are the waste yarn that I still have left from the Vertices Unite shawl I knit a while ago, the Stephen West Vertices Unite, and I am following the pattern. That means that I am knitting the 64 stitches, and then we have like a heel flap and gusset, in over here we say a Hollandse heel, which means it's a Dutch heel, because I think it's mostly used in Holland. Now, it's a very good heel, and you need the heel flap, of course, and then the gusset, and that makes that you have like this heel flap and then the small heel, and then you do this. I'm going I'm going everywhere with what I'm explaining. So what I liked about this heel is that it repeats the stitch pattern that is used here. So the border and the in-between rows are made with twisted stitches. So you knit the purl one just like a purl one, and you twist the knit one. And then here you have the row, and it flows into the pattern of the heel, which makes it quite, well, it gives it an extra nice detail, I think. And then afterward you make the small heel, and then you pick up the stitches with a new color, and you do the increases. Now the decreases, sorry. So now the decreases are not all the way you would do them in just a vanilla sock, because you have only 15 rows in one stripe, and you don't want to do decreases in this little one because it would show. So therefore she added in the pattern where you need to do extra decreases to get to your amount of 32 stitches, which I think is lovely. And then just the foot, and then we encountered a problem, which is that I don't have enough left of this color. So what I did is I ordered a new one, so I will be left with even more leftovers than when I started. But anyway, I thought it was a nice color to include here just before I start the toe. And yeah, of course, it's a color that I can use in other socks for color work or anything. It's something quite nice, so I don't mind. But that's as far as it goes when we are talking about knitting with leftovers. So yeah, this one is part of, so the pattern is used in the seasonal knit-along organized by Ineke of Lunester Knits. And I think it will go on. I think it still goes on, but I'm not sure how long yet still the cal is going on. So maybe look at her channel and then decide if you want to participate or not. It's a very fun knit because, well, stripes keep you moving forward, and that's what I really love about it. So still one stripe and a toe to go, and then they're finished. Another knit, and that's a quite well, it's not complicated, but it's more intricate. It has some more flesh to it. It's not something you do in a car. But I am knitting away on the test knit for the Amitié Cardigan by Knitree, which is a Korean designer, and I think she has done the most stunning job. I'm not sure if I can clearly show it. Maybe this will help. But as you can see, it's an all-over lace cardigan. And although it looks quite complicated, in fact, it's so well written, the pattern, that it's not. You just follow the charts and the small details on the charts, and it's very, very well written. You also make these small bubbles. Can you see? I never made the bubbles the way she made them. I gave them my own twist, but I really like them. It's it's a small detail. It's not as loud as some bubbles can be, and I'm gonna show you the yarn I'm using, which is this one. It's the fil mohair soie. That means that it has some mohair, but also some silk. It's just 25 grams, 195 meters, 70% mohair and 30% silk. So I am using it double. You might be able to see it, but yeah, one loop that I forgot to knit. So I will just put a little yarn end through it, and then make it, well, that it can't escape anymore. um, but that's what's on my needles and in my hands for most of the time, in fact, because I can do it in front of the TV. I don't mind that. But you need to pay attention all the time. You need to have some light in, because it's not a very dark yarn, but it's darker than average. I'm using these rose gold needles, so they have a little contrast with the but they need to fix them. But they give a little contrast with the yarn. I think that's a good trick to see your stitches when knitting darker colors. Anyway, I am now ready to pick up for the front part. So this is the back, this is the neck, and these are the sides where I need to pick up stitches to create the front panel. And the front panel, I thought it would be increasing and decreasing, and that it will be some increasing, but most of it will be done by knitting short rows, German short rows. So that's a technique. Well, I use the technique German short rows. Well, it's quite hard to say, isn't it? I use the technique German short rows quite regularly, but I haven't used it to create the movement in a V-neck at the front. So that's something new for me. I'm quite looking forward to it and seeing how it turns out, and I'm not sure yet that I will pick up the stitches from this side and from this side at the same time, so that it's identical what I do on both sides. I'm not entirely sure if that is a good intention when knitting something, well, when knitting a technique that is quite new. So just debating on that one, but we will make, hopefully I will show you the end result of the front panels in the next Yarny tale. And then I have something that went terribly wrong. It's my sew t-shirt, and the sew t-shirt is a free pattern that you can get on Ravelry, and I think on a website as well. It's by Kristin Blom. I am not knitting it with the yarn that was intended by her, with Yerbo Lin, which is a flax yarn. I don't like knitting with flax yarn because it splits quite heavily, and well, it gives you a nice drape when it's washed, etc. But I don't like the feel of it when knitting it. It's quite sturdy. It's, of course, flax, which is a Belgian and a Dutch product mainly, which grows on the fields over here. And well, the fiber is quite sturdy. It's not as soft as an animal yarn. So that's why I decided to go to Anil Miami, which is 60% cotton and 40% acrylic yarn. It's not a wool fiber as well, but it has a very nice drape, I think, as you can probably tell. And well, it's 60% cotton, but the acrylic in it makes it softer. So it's not as hard on the hands, it's quite stretchy. Maybe I can show you on a yarn end that you can see there is still some bounce to it. It's not a very sturdy cotton yarn. Anyway, I made a gauge swatch, and it turned out to be larger than the gauge swatch she had. So what I did is choose size large instead of extra large. I did some calculations, and well, it would be around the size of the XL which I needed. And the pattern also suggested a positive ease of 30 centimeters, which is quite wide. But I went with it. I did everything according to pattern. So I started with an I-cord. Then I picked up stitches from the I-cord and started increasing, and at the same time knitting the wonderful lace on the sleeves. Now, what went wrong? As you can see, the collar is quite wide, I think, but for a summer t-shirt that's quite okay. But then, as you can see, you need to increase, and the last increase row is over here. Now I'm gonna just put this on to show you what went wrong. So this is the neckline. It is quite deep, deeper than I think I saw in the picture, but anyway, it's okay. It's quite deep in the back as well. But then the increases are okay to about here, so that's the third row of increases. But then the fourth row of increases is here. And can you see what it does? It's intended for a bustier lady than me, I think, because you would be able to carry that off, but in the back you would still have a problem. As you can see, it is still quite bubbly in the back. What I do like is the lace. I think it's quite a beautiful lace pattern. So I pondered on the options I had to recreate it, which was taking out the increases here. But I think that would make it too small, too narrow under the arms. So then I would have to increase a lot under the arms, and that would make this line different. Another option is to go back entirely and make sure that the increases fall above the bust. So increase instead of after 14 rows, after something like 8 or 10 rows, so that the increases would not be under the bust and would be more like this. which would be nicer, I think, but still too large, and in the back there would still be a problem. So after some debate, I think I'm not going to carry on with this t-shirt. I do like the fabric, I do like the color, I do like the lace. So I am going to make my own pattern for a t-shirt with a different construction. I think I will go for, I'm not sure yet. Maybe I'll do a saddle shoulder and then attach the yarn to the front and the back to it, and then have my lace here on the shoulders and sleeves. Or maybe I will do something like a raglan construction and make sure that the lace is also on the shoulders. I'm not entirely sure yet. Mm. Well, it was a lot of knitting. And in French we say la mer de Jersey. Uh, the first time I heard it, I was like, which sea are you talking about? Well, it's the sea of knit stitch, of course, that they mean. And there certainly is going on a sea of knit stitch, because the interesting part is what you get first, and then you just have to finish it off with a lot of plain knitting. But anyway, that's a nice car project as well. So maybe that will come in handy next week if I manage to start up the new design. Anyway, where we went. I'm just gonna take this off and wear my sweater again. So we needed to be in Spa this weekend. It's known for its Formula One circuit, Spa-Francorchamps. Um, but we didn't go there. We could have visited it if we wanted to, but we ended up going to Aachen in Germany, which is a smaller city, but a very, very lovely one. So it's known for its Aachener Dome, which is not a cathedral, but a dome is something smaller than a cathedral, but anyway, something quite important in the Christian faith. And it's also known for its Christmas market, which was, of course, not going on at the moment. But I can imagine that it will be lovely to go there for a Christmas market, because the town itself was a very cozy one. So the old city center, so you have like a modern shopping street. Well, not much to see there, but the historic city center is really nice. So you have a lot of bakeries. They also Lebkuchen. Lebkuchen is, well, quite a spicy kind of in between bread and cake. It's something that is made with honey and spices, and well, it's a delicacy that they are specialized in. Um, but the bakeries do have other delicious things as well. And they did have some very nice ice cream. Normally you would go to Italy for the ice cream, but in Germany it was nice ice cream as well. Um, and then um, we did go into some nice shops. They had a magnificent bookstore. It was huge, really huge, like a Waterstones. Of course, with mostly German books, but also some bits and bobs. And well, it was a really nice environment to be in. Anyway, I'm digressing. We went to the Annastraße. And Annastraße is a street where all creatives are situated. So you did have a yarn store, yes, but you also had other creative stores like jewelry and some fabric, etc., etc. And well, I did some shopping. So this is the Annastrasse. It's a really very small cobbly street, and the yarn store even had a bench for the husbands to wait on in front of the store. And so I went in, and they didn't have a huge assortment. It was all quite well-known brands. It's nothing special like hand-dyed yarns, etc. That was not what you would find there, but they did have quite a selection of Lana Grossa. Lana Grossa is a German brand. It sounds Italian, and it means a thick yarn in Italian. Um, but it's like a very good yarn, a very good assortment, and very nice choice of yarns. So I was quite intrigued, and I went in and bought this. Sorry for the noise. I bought a glitter ball. So this is the Cosmo yarn. It has some strass in it. And I think it will go very well with some other yarn I have in about the same beigey color. And I want to make a Bernadette. Well, not a Bernadette. Bernadette is here in Belgium very well known as a sweater that was knit by almost everyone some years ago. Well, it's a cardigan, in fact, so you just had two straight front panels, a straight back panel, and two straight arms, and then you sew that together, and then you get this huge fluffy cardigan. It's very easy to knit, and now I see that the cardigans that were, well, the Bernadette was knit with something like 8 or 10 millimeters, or even 12 to 15 millimeters. So it was a really quick knit. But now you see some other patterns coming along, and well, I'm looking to make one with a round yoke and maybe top down. So I'm just going to have a look if there are any patterns that I like out there, and if not, I will make my own, just to make something that can be worn as a Bernadette, um, but well, is a bit more stylish because, well, the Bernadettes, they flew off your shoulders, of course, and, well, they were not as, I want an elegant Bernadette. Let's keep it there, that on that. So, yeah, that was my purchase over there, and then we went to get some nice ice cream, and then we went back. I'm going to insert some footage of that, and I do hope that you will enjoy it. I do hope that you enjoyed this Yarny tale as well, and that I can see you in the next one in 2 weeks. If so, please give me a thumbs up or a hype, or, well, subscribe to the channel. Many thanks. Happy Mother's Day, because that's what it is today in Belgium. And see you in the next one. Bye!